starts now.
It's an idea that's getting more traction around the country this week, banning mail-in voting. On Your Side Tonight continues now. Good evening and thanks for staying with us at 7:30, where we're digging deeper into these claims by the president and whether they impact you at home.
Mail-in ballots are corrupt. Mail-in ballots, you can never have a real democracy with mail-in ballots. And we, as a Republican Party, are going to do everything possible that we get rid of mail-in ballots. We're going to start with an executive order that's being written right now.
This week in the Oval Office, President Donald Trump said his administration will ban mail-in voting and voting machines for the 2026 election. It's a sharp contrast to 2024 when he and other Republicans encouraged people to vote by mail. This comes after he said he spoke about mail-in voting with Russian President Vladimir Putin last week during their summit. Trump told Fox News that Putin told him you can't have an honest election with mail-in voting. We wanted to know whether the president has the power to ban this type of voting.
No, it is not possible for the president to ban mail-in ballots for the entire country. So elections are run by and large by the states. And so states get to make their own decisions about what to do in terms of mail balloting. Some have all mail ballots, some have some mail ballots. It varies by the state. The president doesn't really have any say-so over that.
That's political science professor Chris Cooper at Western Carolina University. As you heard, he said every state makes its own decisions about its elections. The Constitution gives power to states to determine times, places, and manner of holding elections. If the president issues an executive order, it's likely to be challenged in court. However, some states can try to work around these legal challenges if they want to abide by the president's wishes.
Obviously, it's powerful if the president of the United States says anything. So people are going to take notice. People are going to pay attention. He can signal what he wants to happen. And it may very well be that certain states jump in and say, hey, the president wants it this way. We're going to limit it for our state. But as far as a national ban on mail-in balloting, no.
Now, it's important to note mail-in ballots do not account for a large portion of the total number of votes. Nearly 25% of voters cast their ballot by mail in 2016. That number rose exponentially in 2020 when 43% of people voted by mail. But in 2024, that number decreased to 30%. Here in North Carolina, only 5% of ballots were cast by mail out of the total number. And in South Carolina, that number was only 4%.
So we've actually had some version of mail-in balloting in North Carolina since the early 1900s. This is not a new thing. It was used primarily by folks in the military for a very long time. And then we started to see some changes in the last few years. So we have people who tend to be older. We have folks that are in the military, folks who are stationed abroad. And then we also have some young folks, right? You've got people in college, for example. So if you grew up in Charlotte, you're at Chapel Hill, or heaven forbid you're in Cullowhee to go to college, then you can mail in that ballot back home, and that would be a completely legitimate use of mail-in ballots.
And finally, one of the main allegations regarding voting by mail is fraud. The Associated Press found less than 475 cases of voter fraud in 6 battleground states in 2020. It's important to note here, just because you mail your ballot doesn't mean it will be counted. Reasons for that range from not having a complete signature, your ballot wasn't received on time, another ballot for you was already accepted, and more. And in fact, one of the largest cases of voter fraud happened right here in North Carolina. WBTV was there in Bladen County as the investigation unfolded in 2019, revealing a widespread absentee ballot scheme.
One example of large-scale mail-in ballot fraud was in North Carolina in the 9th Congressional District, where a political consultant essentially took a bunch of these mail ballots and was able to bundle them together in favor of one candidate. We actually called a new congressional election and started all over there. So there's really one example, and it happens to be right in our backyard.
But that person, of course, that was figured out and it was corrected.
That's exactly right. And I think there's two ways to look at the 9th Congressional District scandal there. One is to say, hey, look at the problems. Another is to say, we were able to figure this out, right? Our data are so open and transparent and available for everybody to see that it was able to be sniffed out, taken care of, and stopped. So I would actually look at that as an example of.
As we said, it is unclear whether the president will actually move forward with an executive order on the matter. But as of right now, you will be able to vote by mail in the 2026 midterms. We're going to continue to follow this story and bring you the very latest updates right here on WBTV and WBTV.com.